Being bitten by your own cat is a strange kind of hurt. Not just the physical sting, but the confusion, the sense that something went wrong between you without you knowing how or why. That moment of disconnect. This video is about closing that gap, about understanding what your cat was feeling in that moment, and why, once you know, you'll never experience that confusion again. Because the bite didn't come from nowhere. It never does. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what your cat was saying and how to hear it before it ever gets that far again. Let's start with the most important thing. The bite was not the first thing your cat tried. It wasn't even the second or the third. By the time your cat's teeth made contact with your skin, they had already communicated their discomfort in multiple ways, clearly, specifically, and repeatedly. You missed every single one. This is not a criticism. It's something almost every cat owner does, because almost no one is taught what to look for. We're taught that cats purr when they're happy and hiss when they're angry. We're taught that a relaxed cat is a safe cat. And so when everything seems fine, when the purring is steady and the cat is sitting still, we assume we have permission to keep going. But cats don't communicate in two states. They communicate in a continuous stream of signals that shift and change in real time. And the signals that precede a bite are subtle enough that most people never catch them until they've been caught off guard enough times to start paying closer attention. The bite was your cat's final option, the thing they did when everything else failed. And understanding what came before it is the only way to make sure it never needs to happen again. Here's what your cat was experiencing in the minutes, sometimes seconds, before the bite. And it has a name. Behavioral scientists call it petting-induced overstimulation. But that term makes it sound like a malfunction. It isn't. It's a completely normal feline response to a very specific kind of sensory experience. When you pet your cat, nerve endings in their skin are activated with every stroke. For most of the interaction, this feels good. It releases oxytocin, it regulates their nervous system, and it reinforces the bond between you. But cats have a threshold, a point at which the accumulation of sensation crosses from pleasurable to overwhelming. And when that threshold is crossed, the same nerve endings that were sending pleasure signals start sending something closer to irritation. It's not that your cat stopped liking you. It's that their nervous system reached its limit and needed the stimulation to stop. The problem is, most of the time, it didn't, because you didn't know the threshold had been crossed. And here's the crucial part. Your cat knew. Long before the bite, their body was registering the shift, and they were telling you about it, in the only language they have.
This is the section that changes everything. Because once you know these signals, once you've seen them described and you start watching for them, you'll never miss them again. The first signal is the tail. A cat who is comfortable being petted has a still or gently swaying tail. The moment that tail begins to flick, short, sharp movements at the tip, something has shifted. That flick is not excitement. It's the first flag, the body saying, something is changing. Pay attention. The second signal is the skin. Watch the fur along your cat's back and sides while you're petting them. When overstimulation begins, you'll often see a subtle ripple, a quick, involuntary twitch of the skin, like they're shaking off a fly. That twitch is not random. It's the nervous system registering too much input and trying to reset. The third signal is the ears. Ears that were relaxed and forward begin to rotate. Not fully flattened, that comes later, just a slight turn to the side or a subtle shift backward. It's a small movement, easy to miss, but it means I'm no longer fully comfortable. The direction of my attention has changed. The fourth signal is the stillness. Cats who are being overstimulated often go very still, paradoxically still given what's about to happen. They stop leaning into your hand. Their body becomes slightly rigid. They may stop purring, or the purr may change in quality, becoming lower, more irregular. That stillness is not relaxation, it's preparation. And the fifth signal, the one closest to the bite, is the look. Your cat turns their head and looks directly at your hand, not at you, at your hand. That look is the last warning. It means, I have told you in every way I know how. This is the final one. If you see that look and keep petting, the bite is not a surprise. It's a response to being ignored. Here's a question most people never think to ask. If your cat is uncomfortable, if they've reached their limit and want the petting to stop, why don't they just leave? Why the bite? Why not simply get up and walk away? Sometimes they do. Cats who feel completely safe and in control of their environment will often disengage before reaching the bite threshold. They stand, stretch, and move away, the interaction ending on their terms. This is actually the healthiest response, and cats who do this regularly are cats who have learned that leaving works, that their exit will be respected. But not all cats have learned that. Some cats, particularly those who were handled a lot as kittens without adequate choice, or who have learned that moving away results in being followed or picked up again, have discovered that leaving doesn't reliably end the interaction. And so they stay, and they signal, and when the signals are ignored, they do the one thing that has never failed to end the overstimulation immediately. The bite works, every single time. And a cat who has learned that the bite works is a cat who will keep using it, not out of aggression, not out of cruelty, but because it's the tool that has proven most effective at communicating the thing they've been trying to communicate all along. I need this to stop, now.
Here's the part that actually changes things, because understanding why it happened is only useful if it changes what happens next. The first shift is simple. Start watching the tail. Every time you pet your cat, keep one part of your attention on the tail. The moment it begins to flick, stop. Not after a few more strokes, not at the end of the section you're petting, right then. Remove your hand, give your cat space. Let them reset. What happens next will tell you everything. If your cat relaxes, reorients toward you, and leans back in, they're inviting you to continue. Follow their lead. When they lean in, pet. When they pull back or the tail flicks again, stop. You're no longer imposing a petting session on your cat. You're having a conversation, and conversations require two participants. The second shift is about location. Some parts of the body reach the overstimulation threshold much faster than others. The base of the tail, the belly, and the lower back are the highest risk areas, rich in nerve endings, quick to tip from pleasure to overwhelm. The cheeks, the chin, and the area between the ears tend to have much higher thresholds. If you want longer, safer interactions, start there and stay there unless your cat actively guides you elsewhere. The third shift is the most important. Stop thinking of your cat's tolerance for petting as a fixed amount that either exists or doesn't. Think of it as a resource that depletes and replenishes. Short, consensual sessions, where you stop before the signals appear, actually increase your cat's tolerance over time, because they learn that petting with you ends before it becomes overwhelming, that being near you doesn't require bracing for too much, that your hands are safe. And a cat who has learned that your hands are safe is a cat who will never need to bite you again. That bite wasn't a betrayal. It wasn't your cat turning on you. It wasn't proof that they don't love you or that something is broken between you. It was a communication failure on both sides. Your cat trying to tell you something in a language you hadn't learned yet, and you not having the tools to hear it. That's not anyone's fault, but now you have the tools. The signals were always there. The tail flick, the skin twitch, the ear rotation, the stillness, the look at your hand. A complete, readable sentence your cat was writing in real time, waiting for you to understand it. Now you can. And the next time you're petting your cat and you catch that first flick of the tail, and you stop and you give them space, and they look at you and choose to come back, that moment will feel different than any petting session you've had before, because it won't just be you touching your cat, it will be two beings actually listening to each other. That's what was missing, and now
It doesn't have to be.